project, food security and sustainable livelihood activities. We develop also local NGO capacity to accompany with the CBOs and in partnership with the Foundation Madagascar National Park, GIZ, WWF. And we promote and support networking and exchange among these local communities, because they need to be supported politically, if I can say that, for their recognition in this noble work. So, an example of these local traditional communities is the Fukumulina Manjush in the Nikea forest. It is really a traditional community. They live in the forest and with the natural resources. They have high social and cultural values, and the forest is also their reserve of food and wood, and reserve of medicinal plants. And they are very proud of their forest. That is one example of traditional local community in Madagascar. What are the results from 2008? Some areas are well governed by local communities with traditional contract. That is to say that we have a traditional social contract called DINA, and we use that to manage the forest and the natural resources. So, after 5 years, we can demonstrate that the local community can be effective, and there is a decrease of the degradation of the natural resources. Not in all sites, but in some sites we can demonstrate that. And we can demonstrate also that some communities are on their way to autonomy. That is to say that they have their own organization, they are on their way to sustainable livelihoods, and their capacity of negotiation has improved. And now we have a network of local communities at local, at regional and national level to defend their rights and responsibilities, because their rights and responsibilities are to be defended now. It is not fully recognized by the government at this time, but we hope that it will change. So, just a small story of a community. They were supported to make a plantation in the land around the forest. Now they can store their project in this storage house. And they are very proud when they completed their projects. They received a certificate of good completion. And they have now a storage of food. So they are on their way to food security. The challenges, the willingness to recognize the status of local communities and their effectiveness in natural resource management, willingness of the government or of people responsible in the country. And one more challenge is that to be credible stakeholders, communities must have degree of autonomy before they are able to negotiate with multiple stakeholders. And for sustainability also, they have to be autonomous, that is to say their institution, their organization, and autonomy, financial autonomy, for the responsibility of taking care of natural resources and for their livelihood activities. Lessons and perspectives. Lessons. We have to deal with the long-term vision, 15-year set terms, and at multi-level, at local, regional, and national level, on the sustainability of a system of protected areas. We have to deal with social, economic, and environmental viability and sustainability. We must develop also tools for the next 5 years to view all the elements of the system and their importance in sustainability, effectiveness, and efficiency. When I say system, it is the system of protected areas with all the mosaic of natural resources around the official protected areas. And good lessons. We must have a positive approach towards equity. That is to say that we encourage local communities to demonstrate their effectiveness in managing natural resources, and then we support them. It is not like a blackmail. So if you don't the time last how to say that? It is not an approach. It is not an approach which say that we have to support those who destroy the natural resources, and the local communities said at that time, if you don't support us, we will destroy the natural resources, we will destroy the forest. But now, the approach is that demonstrate that you are effective in managing natural resources, and we will support you, we will go together until your autonomy. That was a positive approach. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Balloon. I think that positive approach, the win-win approach to equity is something we can all learn from. And it really is about establishing a relationship, moving from, or building a relationship, moving from a polarized situation to one in which there's really a relationship of trust and finding mutual interest. So it's a great example, and thank you for bringing the governance lens. So our next speaker is Bonifacio Cobias, and as I mentioned, he's a local coordinator for Compact's program in the Philippines, and he comes from the Palawan region, and this is, I think, a really an important or a good example of the local coordinators throughout, and all of Compact sites either come from the area or have a very strong connection and commitment to the area, as Balloon's colleague Fal, who is based in southwest Madagascar, not from that region, but deeply committed and lived there for years. So now I'd like to turn it over to Bon. He's going to give a few words of introduction and then show us a photo story. Thank you, Bon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Bonifacio Cobias, local coordinator for Compact Communities. I am pleased to present to you this afternoon the Compact intervention on biodiversity conservation project in the Puerto Princesa Santiago Rainbow National Park, the project site of Tumpak, Philippines. The presentation involves the works on empowering indigenous people living within a protected area or the World Heritage Site. I hope you will appreciate both presentation and find it totally aligned with this activity and shall build on the base of Tumpak, Philippines Biodiversity Conservation Project.
Through the acquisition of ancestral domain title, UNDP JEF Small Grants Program Compact Initiative with co-financing from the UN Foundation. The project Localization of Natural Resources Management through the acquisition of Certificate of Ancestral Domain Title is being implemented in the Puerto Princesa Subterranean River National Park. Located in the St. Paul Mountain Range, it is 81 kilometers northwest from the center of Puerto Princesa City, the capital of Palawan, the Philippines' last ecological frontier. The 22,202 hectare national park is part of the Palawan Protected Forest and proclaimed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1999. This project aims to support indigenous peoples' initiatives for protection and management of their ancestral areas by securing their tenurial instrument, providing culturally appropriate livelihood projects and activities for conservation of forests and river ecosystems. The project initiated planting of endemic trees to enrich the parking threatened forests and riverbanks in the area. IP members, their children, and local leaders actively participated in these activities. The Tagbalay Foundation, a local NGO, is currently working to secure the Certificate of Ancestral Domain Title for more than 5,000 hectares of primary forest within the protected area. The Certificate of Ancestral Domain Title will provide rightful ownership to the indigenous people on their ancestral lands and set conservation direction as it embodies formulation of an ancestral domain sustainable development protection plan. This plan shall serve as a resource use guideline and shall mandate appropriate corresponding conservation and protection policies. By securing the ancestral domain title, the biodiversity of the area is protected and enhanced. Endemic trees, parrots, bear cats, porcupines, freshwater and marine turtles, wild ducks, Palawan pheasant, monitor lizards, and other flora and fauna that make up the majority of the area's fragile biodiversity. The project has also executed organizational development and management, raised awareness, and environmental education through activities built around the concept of empowerment, sustainability, and resource stewardship. Indigenous knowledge systems and practices on hatching sea turtle eggs have been popularized by this project. A member of the Tribal Council has successfully hatched sea turtles by transferring eggs and embedding them into dry sand and installing a perimeter fence in the hatching area. With this system and practice in place, we can expect an 80 to 95% survival rate, a figure relatively higher than when sea turtle eggs are left unattended. Imprinting and release of juvenile turtles hatched through this process are done by the community members, protected area officers, and local leaders. Support to fishing and agricultural activities of the IPs have been provided by the project to some members for them to be able to produce sufficient food for the community and to improve their socio-economic conditions. The Certificate of Ancestral Domain Title acquisition process ensures that biodiversity conservation and protection measures, instruments and policies are in place and implemented. Security of tenure, sustainable livelihood, biodiversity protection and conservation, and an overall improvement of the lives of the indigenous people are all made possible through the acquisition of the Certificate of Ancestral Domain Bank, a project of UNDP-JEF Small Grants Program Compact Initiative with co-financing from the UN Foundation.
The overall goal of Compact Philippines is to demonstrate how community-based initiatives can significantly change and impact the biodiversity conservation in the Puerto Princesa Sectarian and Leyva National Park. Between 2001 and 2004, Compact Phase 1 has supported 16 on-the-ground projects. For the second phase, we have supported 12 additional biodiversity conservation projects which are all proactive to the conservation needs of the protected area and responsive to the needs of the local population. The UNDP-JEF Small Grants Program and the UNDP Compact have positively changed the lives of many people in different sectors in Palau. And I can say that the intervention is really changing structures and shifting paradigm. I am speaking from experience as I was once project coordinator for a state-funded initiative entitled Community-Based Maritime Management, a livelihood support project way back in 2001. With this project, we successfully established and managed an unprotected area, converted illegal fishers to resource advocates and environmental activists. We changed the perception that resource protection and conservation is solely the government concern and responsibility. The project demonstrated that community-based approach is effective and even more effective if communities are working hand in hand with government agencies and other collaborating institutions, and that community-based processes should be given high regard to ensure higher degree of quality, efficiency, and sustainability. The works on protected area management implicate a lot of challenges. Nonetheless, Compact stakeholders will be the vision that PPSRP shall be a modern world site with healthy and rich natural resources, sustainably providing ecosystem services for the local population through the dynamic processes of biodiversity conservation and sustainable development initiatives. It is instrumental as PPSRP has been described as one of the UCP wonders of nature. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Juan. And I've really enjoyed the photo story and hearing the voices of people from those communities in the landscape. Our next speaker is Nelly Katzen from the Southern Environmental Association in Belize, and we will be getting a bit more perspective on community management of marine and coastal protected areas from Nelly. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Yes, thank you for providing me the opportunity to share today conservation in Belize from a partner's perspective, working with Compact. First, I wanted to just share with you Belize's marine reserve system, World Heritage Site, just sort of presenting sort of the complexities that we face in Belize, in that our World Heritage Site is a composite site comprised of 7 different marine protected areas that span from the north of the country to the south of the country. And its management responsibility really lies within 4 separate management agencies, 2 of which are governmental, 2 of which are non-governmental, through co-management agreements. And in addition to that, the sites, the 7 marine protected areas that make up our World Heritage Site have different categories of protection. And just to give you a visual of the governance structure of our protected area system itself is quite complex, but this here is just a visual of the governance structure of our reserve, our World Heritage Site, and you can see all of the different key players that really serve and play a major role in the protection of those sites. From the perspective of the Southern Environmental Association, I'd just like to highlight really what our responsibilities are as it pertains to management of just 2 of the 7 sites that comprise our World Heritage Site. We are in a delegated co-management agreement with the government, which gives us the day-to-day